fundamental black and white conclusion.
Sounds like a good book.
And that there are a lot of similarities with my story and other people's, but there are a lot of differences as well. Josiah Hesse's with us at the Denver Press Club for the release of his book On Fire for God, which he describes as a personal history. Coming up, things get musical. This is Colorado Matters with CPM.
On Fire for God. Sounds like a good book. Sounds like it's about deconstructing Christianity, but I personally believe that Jesus gave us the very best deconstruction of Christianity, which is Judas, the Gospel of Judas, and the Church of Judas, and what that represents and does to all patriarchy, Christianity, war, and Trumpism, which is ending all patriarchy, Christianity, war, and Trumpism is Jesus' real goal, and it was all set out from the beginning. So hopefully we can start doing it soon. But I'll do my part by continuing to talk about it. But On Fire for God was the name of that guy's book, and it sounded like a good book. Okay. Are they going to talk some more though?
Fear, shame, poverty, and the making of the Christian right. That's the tagline for Denver journalist Josiah Hesse's new book. We're in front of an audience at the Denver Press Club for the release of On Fire for God. I want to widen our lens, as you do in the book, to poverty, to the Christian right, and to a certain musical. One by night, they leave the boulevard, heading for the dance of the honor, libertine women, scarlet women, and ragtime, shameless music of backward son.
Jesus Christ Superstar? Is it Joseph Technicolor Dreamcoat? Is it the Mormon?
Your hometown, Mason City, was the inspiration for River City in the Music Man.
River City, the Music Man.
Grew up there. And that line, "You got trouble," echoes throughout your book. What is the parallel to the story you're telling, Josiah? So yeah, the Music Man, this guy is going from town to town looking for whatever is new that he can freak people out about, and then offer his marching band this wholesome vestige of the past as the solution. Like, in this case, in the Music Man, when it comes to River City, it's a pool table that's coming to town. No one's freaked out about this pool table until this guy tells them, like, your daughters are going to become whores, your sons are going to be gamblers, like, it's just going to be crazy. And he has like a low-key racism in that song as well, when he talks about the arms of a jungle, animal instinct, you know, coming for your daughters. And that's something that I saw was a beat of history that repeated again and again with the Klan in 1925, when they came to my hometown, started recruiting people, talking about evolution as being taught in their schools, colored people coming to town, because there was a lot of industry in my hometown. But then again, throughout the Red Scare in the 50s, feminism in the 70s, abortion, satanic panic in the 80s, gay marriage in the 2000s, trans people today, and there's a lot of parallels between Donald Trump and the Music Man. So I felt like I was kind of gifted this narrative device about my hometown that just clicked right into place with the book that I was writing. Yeah, and let's identify the elements. You need a foil. You need an enemy, first off. You need something to villainize. Something new,
especially if you're going to
people don't understand. Yeah, and are thus afraid of.
If you're going to build
and
your
then,
evil network,
inherent in
white
the
supremacy.
Music Man is the idea that you buy an instrument and join a band. There's a little profit in there, isn't there? Yeah, and that happened with the Klan in the 20s. They had a circus and a parade in my hometown, and they got people to, you know, sign up for membership and buy a robe and a hood, and they're making millions of dollars. This was the second iteration of the Klan, basically a satire about small town people being very evil and easily manipulated. Also changed the name of to River City in the play, because he thought like he'd never be welcome home again. They're going to tar and feather him. But No, Mason City loves the Music Man. You can't walk 100 yards in that town without encountering a sculpture, a mural, or something about the Music Man. And the local Hardee's, which is a fast food chain in the Midwest, it's called Carl's Jr. out here.
The Hardee's in the Southeast.
In my hometown, it's a museum. They have instruments, uniforms, movie posters, and that's the case throughout the town. Meredith Wilson's childhood home is a museum that you can revisit. But that just means a lot of town folk don't get it. Or do they
get it?
And still, these people are high school sports. The farming crisis of the 1980s
actively freak you out about
very
that.
prominent.
Food mirrors.
And I wonder if you describe how it affected Mason City and near Clear Lake, which you also claim is something in your hometown. Yeah, I grew up in both of those towns. They're right next to each other.
This is interesting to hear, but I might have...
Russia invaded Afghanistan. There was an embargo against grain. There were a whole bunch of factors that led to just this plummeting in the price of goods from the Midwest and the value of the land.
So they started growing wheat.
A great deal of farms, family farms that have been passed down from generations, were foreclosed upon, and the suicide rate spiked 400%. A lot of people were drinking and just kind of going crazy. There were murders that happened. It was a very dark period in the Midwest. And this happened during the Great Depression, but FDR had a lot of programs to bolster farms during that time. The white farmers didn't care for it so much in the 60s when LBJ expanded those protections to people of color and women and other industries. But yeah, a lot of family farms were lost, and we got this big corporate agriculture that we have today that's just bankrupting the soil and leading to terrible food coming out of the Midwest. But yeah, a whole way of life that was brought over from Europe to create America's breadbasket was lost in the 1980s. And there was a great deal of despair that was spread across the land, and isolation. And indeed, the social safety net is almost nil. Yeah, and there was a resistance to embracing that social safety net because by that time, in the Reagan era, in the new conservative era, there was a stigma against government assistance that didn't extend to the corporations that were buying up all of this land and creating this new industry. They were happy to get the subsidies from the U.S. government, but the individual farmers felt a kind of shame about it. Meanwhile, preachers are telling people to laugh at their bills.
That's what we should do for insurance bills and medical bills. Send them to the White House. Send Jasmine Crockett and AOC to the White House for universal health care. Or Cardi B. Send Cardi B to the White House.
Well in the Midwest. It lands well whenever there's
we're not doing the prosperity gospel Trumpy stuff.
A lot of American evangelists love to go to
Church of Judas replaces all patriarchy, Christianity, war, and Trumpism.
Prosperity gospel, which is basically the idea that the more you give to God, i.e. the church, financially, the more
the church is Antichrist.
Blessed. And
God is fake. Jesus is from the goddess.
Centuries. There's a lot of convoluted theology behind it, but we were taught that
and it resulted in Trumpism.
The more risky behavior you engage in with giving money to the church, the more you'll be rewarded. It was a kind of like snake handling with your finances. You know, the more dangerous it was, the more reward you would reap. And the preachers would talk about how much they've been blessed by God. They would brag about
everyone's giving them money to,
the vacations they went on, the private planes they had, the expensive
Check out the Church of Judas to replace all patriarchy, Christianity, war, and Trumpism.
And for the rest of us in the congregation, I noticed as the years went on, everyone's still buying thrift store clothes and living on food stamps and burnt tater tots. No one's climbing the ladder of success in the congregation, but it's working out quite well for people on the stage. Echoes of the Music Man a bit. Exactly. Harold Hill, the Music Man, had this thing called the Think System, where
this guy was from the town where the Music Man was from.
When they would ask him, how do you play these musical instruments that you just told us to invest all our money in? He'd be like, well, don't touch the instrument. Like, you don't need to learn anything. And he didn't know anything. There's a line in the book or in the play where someone says he doesn't know a bass drum from a pipe organ.
No.
And he would say, like, you just need to visualize yourself playing this instrument, and you will one day when you pick it up know how to play it. And these people who were being given financial advice from their pastors, who really needed some kind of financial literacy, because that is something that working class people struggle with. They were just told, you need to believe in your heart that God is going to provide for you. So yeah, laugh at your bills because God's got it. It's going to work out.
But really,
out.
we should
And if
send
you have
medical
any
bills and insurance.
doubts,
Ignore
that
insurance
is the
bills, send medical
reason
bills to the
why
White House.
it is
Send
not working out
Cardi
for
B to
you.
the White House and universal health
If you
care.
have any sin in your life, that is the reason why God is not blessing you.